All right, thank you everybody for being here. I'm Dr. Dennis Mariano, and this is our Transformational Healing Seminar. And if you can tell, I'm really excited to do this every Tuesday because, number one, it gives us an opportunity to touch base with people in our practice and to share with you the amazing principles that we abide by in allowing your body to heal naturally. In today's world, there's information out there that it can get very confusing, and you don't really know who to believe, you don't know who to trust, right? I mean, there's data everywhere. What I've found after being in practice for 25 years is that the thing that allows you to have confidence to know that you're making the right decision is sharing the principles or filtering this data to the set of principles that always work with regard to life and healing and so on. So tonight, we're just not going to give you more information, because guess what? Do you really need more information? Are you kidding me? There's so much information. You can just sit in front of the computer and never leave it, and you'll be there for a lifetime. So we don't need more information. What we need are principles and how things work in life. Because again, you can filter information through the principles, and now it's going to mean something to you. And number one, it's not going to hurt you, right? Because, I mean, think about this. Do you remember back in the 50s when there used to be tobacco commercials on TV? What were those like? What did they say about tobacco back when they were hiding the fact that it was harmful to you?
Saying how good it was.
How good it was for you, right? I remember seeing a commercial, I should put up a slide here next time, that said, doctors prefer this type of cigarette. Remember that? Because it's relaxing for you, and then they kept denying, the tobacco companies kept denying, no, the science says it's safe. That's even illogical, right? But again, you know, we go by science, according to what the science says is safe, and it wasn't. So why am I mentioning that? Because you don't want to be bamboozled again. How many times do they say, oh, this vitamin's really good, and then a couple of months later they go, oh, it's not good for you at all. Oh, this drug's really good for you. It's going to be the cure for this, for that. And then they go, oh, it's killing people, right? Because you're being fed information. We don't want information. We want what? Principles. And the more you understand these principles, the more you can keep yourself safe and your family safe as well. So, hey, Kath, we also need the stick, by the way. So, all right. So tonight we're going to be discussing fascial movement taping, and also we're going to be discussing how to balance your body with a cold laser. And that's going to be under a very small compartment of how the body works and how we can heal the body, but we're going to go deep tonight as opposed to wide. Okay, next now. So tonight's topic is peak performance and injury prevention using functional movement taping and the cold laser. So before we begin, I want to go ahead and share with you always, we want to start out with our mission statement. Our mission statement is to provide the best technology in holistic health and life care. Now you notice, what does that mean? Break that down. What does holistic mean?
Whole.
Is it pieces or whole? It's the whole thing. It's everything, right? And with regard to your health also, what's the most important word in here that I put in here?
Life.
It's about your life, correct? Notice with the name of our practice. What is the name of our practice? Holistic Life Center. Why did I not choose to call it a chiropractic center? Because chiropractic is a part of your life. What about health? Does it matter if you're healthy? I mean, you can't be healthy if you're dead, right? So the most important thing is your life. What about wellness? Wellness is a state of beingness, correct? But it doesn't matter if it's not in the context of your life. And that's really what it's all about. We want you to be able to have the availability to have holistic health and life care for you. You notice it's not treatment. What does treatment indicate?
Like one time?
One time. What else? What does treatment mean?
Usually one symptom.
One symptom specific, right? Our nurse here. So treating this condition. I mean, how many times do they make mistakes of saying, oh, there's, the kidney in number 45 over there, right? The kidney condition as opposed to the person with that condition. It's so easy to become mechanistic about these things because we lose sight. When we look at the body in a way where everything's a broken part, then you begin to lose the humanity in there. And that's why what we're trying to do is we don't treat anything in our practice. Because we don't. What do? We care for the body, give it the opportunity to heal, and the symptoms just happen to go away because the symptoms were in effect to begin with. And you're going to see that tonight. We're not trying to treat effects. Treating effects, Merck Manual, how thick is that? I mean, how many diseases are in the Merck Manual right now? Probably like 4,000 or so. And from what I was told, from what my last check with that, one of my nurses that was here too, she said there's about 7,000 cures for 4,000 diseases. Just shoot me now. It's like, right? And that's why there's so much confusion out there. Because why? You're only trying to cure. Listen, I'm not trying to be negative about, crisis care because we have the best. I'm so happy I live here on the main line. You know why? We have the best crisis care anywhere in the world around here. We have the best. God forbid something happens to you. You fall off a ladder trying to put the chandelier up or something. You know what I mean? That would then, it would be nice to get somebody where they can save your life. But crisis care is different from health care. Is that true? Mm-hmm. So crisis care is there to save your life, and it's there for treating a condition which is a symptom. What we're here to tell you tonight is how can we share with you principles so you can stay healthy outside of crisis care. Because once you're outside of the hospital care, once you're outside of the medical care, they don't really provide you with the resources how to stay healthy. Because that's not their training. You can't train on everything. I was figuring this out. If you trained on crisis care, emergency care, and pediatrics, and sports, and wellness care, and functional medicine, by the time you graduate, you'd be like 90 years old. And you wouldn't be able to practice. It'd be too late. So you can't know everything. So we all need to integrate as different doctors and put the patient in the middle and allow us to surround them with goodness and love and healing so that they can benefit from what we're doing. That's really our goal. So, and our catalyzing statement is to inspire people to live thriving lives. Why? What's the goal? If you guys are thriving, what do you get to do to everybody else? You get to shine your light. If we can just go around and have the intention of lighting everybody's candle so we can be giving instead of getting all the time, right? What would happen to this world? What would happen if we change our consciousness to how much can I give of myself to you with wanting nothing in return? There would be no lack. We would be so overwhelmed with goodness, like, no, let me give you some. No, let me give you something. No, let me go first. Can you imagine how insane that would be? We wouldn't know what to do with each other. No, let me open the door for you. No, that's okay, that's fine. Hey, let me give you some money. Imagine that. Yeah, let me give you. No, let me give you my money. No, let me give you my money. It's like, instead of, no, I want to hold on to my money, right? Because there's only a limited amount, which is a really a facade. Money is only a form of exchange, right? Is there a finite amount of air? It's like infinite amount of air. There's an infinite amount of water. There's an infinite amount of resources out there. But our mindset is so important because we don't follow the principles. We've been conditioned to be dependent on others, to be afraid of things, correct? Mm-hmm. Instead of being empowered. And it trickles down to the way you treat your body. Instead of seeing it as a wonderful organism that heals on its own. Think about that. All day long you're going on, cut myself. You don't go, this is like, it's going to clot. That's the intelligence of the body. It's just going to clot. You ate some food this morning, and for lunch, your body made brain cells out of that. You don't think that's amazing? And you take for granted what the body's capable of. But instead, if you watch TV, what do they tell you? Oh, you're not good enough. You're broken. You're too fat. You're too short. You're too ugly. You don't smell good. Buy their stuff, right? That's what they tell you. They condition you. And that's why in my home, we don't watch TV. The kids watch the cartoons, but what we always tell them to do is that when the commercials come on, guess what happens? Gets muted. Where was I the other day? Oh, I was on Sunday. We go to a restaurant after we go to church and watch the Eagles, right? And I have no control over the remote. I'm like, oh my God, the commercials, turn it off. I'm just not used to listening to commercials because they influence your unconscious, right? God knows what kind of subliminal stuff they're putting on there that you can't see. Remember that back in the like early 80s, the subliminal stuff that they were showing you? Mm-hmm. You think that stopped? Don't you think they have better technology now?
Mm-hmm. I haven't had a TV for 6 years.
Good for you, man. Good for you. Yeah, that's why you're so chill. You're an amazing guy. I mean, just like you're one of the few people that live on this area that have escaped that stuff because you've kind of done that. That's been your journey the whole time. And you know, it's a cool thing, and that's why you like our practice so far. So, yeah, beacon. You want to be a beacon to others for hope, and that's not going to happen overnight because we've been bogged down, we've been beat down, we've been taught to feel bad about ourselves. You're a broken person. You're in pain. That's just the way it's going to be. You're going to get older. It's going to get worse, and you smell bad too. I mean, that's what they tell you. It's like to make things worse. So, and it's not true. We really don't want to believe that. It's not true. So let's go ahead and begin the class. So I had to first of all thank Dr. Jeff Spencer. Dr. Jeff Spencer was an Olympic cyclist in the 1972 Olympics. And he became famous because he started working with the Tour de France. He started working with the Discovery Channel team. He started working with the Radio Shack team and the Postal Service team. And he bought these guys outside of the scandals that they all had. With regard to Lance Armstrong, he was able to get these guys for 7 Tour de France's in a row. And it was not because they were cheating, because they were all cheating. Anyway, they found that out later on. But he had the technology that used to be proprietary, that they would, you know how they, right now when they get injured by the Eagles, they have that tent, they all go into the tent, you can't see what's going on. Well, they used to do the same thing, according to what Dr. Spencer told me. They would hide everybody in the tent when he would work on them. And the technology I'm showing you tonight is part of what he did. It used to be proprietary technology that worked at the highest level of performance to get these people to perform. The Tour de France is so grueling, he said, that these bikers would eat 10,000 calories. Can you imagine eating 10,000 calories a day? That's like 5 times the calories most people eat, and lose weight. That's how insane it is. And they would smash into windshield. You know, it wasn't a matter of if, it was just when, and they would have to go fix them. So we had to develop these technologies that would get them better in like 5 minutes. They had no time to wait. It wasn't like, hey, can you work on me for an hour? It's like, no, let me get on the bike so I can go win. And so I was so fortunate. It's a total blessing that I was there, because he started teaching this technology with Zirconia laser, right, which is this laser right here, early on, when he retired. So he had nothing better to go say, I might as well teach the chiropractors how to do this. What most people that took the class, they only did it because they needed CEUs. I didn't care about CEUs. I had more than CEUs. When I got my diplomate in pediatrics, I had like 360, CEUs in 3 years, and we only need 24 every 2 years. You know what I mean? I'm like, who cares about that? But some people just didn't care about it. So he taught us, and then I'm like, wow. You're teaching us the stuff that you did for the Tour de France? It's like, yeah, this is what I did. It's like, whoa. And I kept taking the advanced classes, and I took it again like 3 times in a row, and we became really good friends. And he's just an amazing guy, so loving, so giving. I mean, that's just the way he is, right? And they call him Dr. Magic, because he would just like do magic to these people in the Tour de France. And he only taught it for maybe 5 years, and now he's not teaching it anymore. But I'm one of the few people that have actually incorporated it into my practice and changed my practice, because I want you guys to benefit from this. So we got to thank Dr. Spencer. Actually, I just took a picture with him a month ago in Jersey. This was 2008 when I still had hair, and then 2014 it was getting lit there, and now you can see it. So it's like, I'm going to get some denture soon. So, wait, it's the wrong part. Okay, no, go ahead. So here's the question. This is huge for you, Aim, because the kind of work that you do. So why do we get injured when we exercise, perform, or compete, right? So there's one segment we're going to focus on that people are not looking at. They just assume that it's just part of exercising, right? You overdid it, you become fatigued. Isn't that true? What other reasons do people think that you get injured?
Usually like
doing that wrong.
overdoing it.
Overdoing it.
Overcompensating.
Doing that
Imbalanced.
wrong.
Doing it wrong, right? People, you're doing it wrong, you're overcompensating, you're out of balance and so on, or you just like, are just not a good athlete and stop it. Just go home. But right, there's many reasons. But what I'm going to share with you tonight is something that Dr. Spencer taught me that it was not even on my radar. And the thing he taught me that he said that was really amazing, he said, you cannot outrun your own blind spots. It's a blind spot, right? That's why you have your coaches, to be able to see what's going on. If you're in boxing, what you're doing is like, oh, well, we'll just turn this way a little bit more, get the knees up a little more, right? So you need somebody to guide you with regard to what's going on. So, and here's another thing. If you do get injured, how many people have you known have gone to rehab, gone to PT, to chiropractic, right? Or any other pain management that didn't get better? Why is that? Do people keep asking? No, they just go, well, it's just the way it is. We tried it, and that's just too bad. What does that tell you again? We talked about tonight. We don't need more information. What do we need? Principles. Dr. Gonstead was a chiropractor back in the 40s. He had rheumatoid arthritis. He developed a technique where he can actually adjust even with this rheumatoid arthritis that he developed when he was 17 years old. The funny thing about it, most chiropractors that did not have the infirmities were trying to use his technique to try to... But here's what he said that he shared with us. These guys were geniuses. They said, when chiropractic does not work, never question the principle because it's always right. What's a principle? What's this principle? What's that say? What's the principle of gravity? Oh, it always works, right? Oh, well, that didn't work that way before Christ. Everything used to go up. No, that's not true. It always works, true? So he said, don't question the principle. When something doesn't work, don't question the principle, because in chiropractic, that's true. Question your application. What are you doing? Is it breaking the principle, or is it following the principle? Question what you're doing. Right? So we're going to talk about that. So discover how you can heal and recover faster based on understanding these principles as well. I think that's really blurry. I apologize. There you go. Much better. So the last thing is, the most important thing, which we should have begun with, is how can we avoid injuries in the future and get stronger at the same time? And that can apply to performance, that can apply to your health, that can apply to your life. If you follow principles of how to live life where you're always making deposits into your health account, as time goes by, you just get better and better, right? So we're going to discuss those in detail tonight. Myotomal inhibition, Dr. Spencer showed this to me. Basically, when your body incurs an injury, it endeavors to protect itself and tends to stay that way unless you reset it. Oh, it's my ankle, right? Oh, that's my trick knee. The thing I keep telling people, oh, that's my bad shoulder. Do you realize you just called your body bad? When I was like, you're bad, how's that feel? It's like, are you like joyful? Like, oh, good, I can heal now, I'm bad. What is it? Stop calling your body bad. We have another seminar on intention and focus and words, right? And how words carry the meaning that they have, and they create crystals in your body that look either beautiful or broken down. And your body is 70%, 80% water. So guess what? Describe how you feel, but don't judge it. Mm-hmm. Oh, it hurts when I do this. You're describing it, right? I have limited range of motion. I don't like how I'm feeling. But don't go, it's my bad shoulder. It's the broken, right? So be careful with your words, because your nervous system and your tissue, every single tissue in your body is listening to how you're exchanging with it. Think about how that would be if your spouse in there, you want to have a good relationship with that spouse. That's the way you need to be talking to your body. Lovingly, carefully. The hard part is kindly and patiently, right? Hard. It's really hard to do because that's not the way we're built. So here's the thing. If you don't understand that, you're going to struggle. You're going to go to different practitioners. They're going to do their thing. There's a lot of amazing practitioners out there that are really, really smart and are really, really well developed in their technique, but it's their technique. We don't want their technique. You want what? Your body's technique. You got to individualize it to what your body's capable of healing. And if you don't understand that, and you're going to end up here after been, right, Marilyn? So we just did a testimonial video for her today because what happened today? You want to share with them real quick? Because her shoulder's been...
I had rotator cuff surgery, and I've been in pain ever since for 2 years.
2 years, right? Because the doctor said that they didn't want to do surgery on your neck because neurosurgeon said...
Yes.
Because they don't want to paralyze her, so they said, well, let's just use shoulder surgery instead. Maybe that'll help you. And so what happened? Did it get better, the shoulder?
No. No.
It got worse, right? For the last 2 years, she's been suffering, right? And she can't even, right? And it's like she loves to be active. How old are you? Tell people how old you are.
80.
She's 80 years old. Given this life, and God given her the life to still be alive, and she can't move. For 2 years now, she's been like this. Maybe 3 weeks or so, we've been lasering it. We've been doing the kinesio tape. We've been breaking the adhesions. We've been adjusting her. What did you do today? That's why I've made...
I'm able to move.
Yeah, she's like, whoa. Like, right? And now she's hopeful. It's been 3 weeks. And I said, Marlene, I mean, see, I haven't known you that long, so I called you Marilyn. So, how long? I said, where have you been this last 2 years? I wish I'd met you. She goes, you never called me. It's like, but I didn't know you. I said, hey, let's make a video. It's like, we have technology now. If we can reach out to somebody like you who's suffering, my gosh, you shouldn't be suffering for 2 years. And in 3 weeks, you're better? What the heck is that? It's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? So that's the reason why, is that we were able to find something in your body that nobody was looking at because it was in their blind spots. And here's the most important thing. It's not complicated, right? Isn't it true that everything in life that matters greatly is simple? Kindness, patience, simple, right? It's not even big words. It's simple, because those are the things that we need to get back to. How do we get back to the principles of simplicity so we can begin to experience life the way it's meant to be, which is to experience it instead of rushing through it and getting through it as quick as possible so you can retire and die of a heart attack, right? Isn't that what most people do? They work, they're stressed, and all of a sudden, boom, they're gone, right? So we don't want that. We don't want the traditional model of crisis care where Medicare says that most people spend 90% of their healthcare dollars trying to keep them alive in the last 2 months of their life. Don't you want to spend your money enjoying your life and giving it to others? Again, giving as opposed to getting. That's the most important thing. So we'll talk about how to reset the system in a moment here. So the most important thing, the reason why this works is because everything runs to your nervous system. As everybody's already seen this. Actually, you haven't yet, Amy. But your spine and nerve system is the key to your health, to your mind-body health. There is no separation between mind and body. Your brain's up here, spinal cord goes through here, the nerves exit through here. They control muscles, right, for movement. And what else do they control? Everything's controlled through your nervous system. All you have to think about, if you get a spinal cord injury, what happens? Nothing works. You can have the best intentions in the world. You could be a really kind person. If you nick your spinal cord and you damage it, you're done. Nothing works because the messages cannot get through. That's the reason why we work with the nervous system. First, open up the channels, let the body heal through it. Because what does it control? Look at the reach. Look at the reach. It's amazing. And that's the way it was designed. The master controller of the body is your spine and nervous system. As a matter of fact, if you look here, we're going to go through this real quick. Just run through all of those there, John. Yeah. Okay, there's the holistic approach. It's the physical, structural, the biochemical, electromagnetic frequency. We'll need to address those. Toxic overload, allergies and infections, and emotional stress. All these components are buckets that life fills up for you. And if you're not aware of those principles, you'll keep filling up this bucket. Guess what? Name the diagnosis. Does it matter? In our practice, we don't really care what the diagnosis is. We're not trying to fix the diagnosis to either stimulate or inhibit it. We're trying to get these things to be empty so that you can then get rid of the effect. Does that make sense? So need to understand that. We're going to be focusing on this today, just one aspect of it. So we need to define health first of all, right? Because if you don't know what health is, which is your very foundation, how are you going to then navigate yourself through life? So if you look at Dorland's Medical Dictionary, it says what? Everybody read that out loud? Health is the optimum physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease and infirmity. How you feel, it doesn't mean you're it's not a good indicator of health. Because you could feel really bad because you ate some bad fish, but it's a healthy response, correct? But you could feel fine, have high blood pressure, cancer, heart disease, and all diabetes, and feel fine. It's not a good indicator. How you feel, and that's where the problem lies, because we're not taught the principle that we're taught the wrong principle that if you feel bad, you're sick, and if you feel good, you're healthy. Not a good indicator, because Dorland's Medical Dictionary says it's not merely the absence of disease and infirmity. So let's put that across right now. Let's establish that it's not how you feel, okay? Because you have to basically, according to Gray's Anatomy, look at what controls the function of the body. If you can assess the function of the body, then you can then know where to go, like your breaker switches in your breaker box in the basement. So what controls function in the body? Everybody read out loud. The brain and nerve system coordinate the what? The function of all tissues, organs, and systems in the body. And here's the key. What does that say? What's one word to replace that? Starts with an A and ends in Asian. Adaptation.
Oh.
You got it? This is it. Without this, there's no adaptation, because that's how you experience your life to what? Your nervous system. Okay, go ahead. So if you have a 100% connection from the brain cells and the energy in the body to the tissues and organs, you have 100% what? And that's the way things began in your life. But all the physical stress, the emotional stress, all the sports injuries, the car accidents, the falls and slips, the emotional, right? The biochemical stress, the bad foods. And then what happens is that the body's then, let's say you have an injury in your low back, and then you just slightly, it goes away on its own. You have ligamentous damage now. You have tendon damage. Now it's shortened. And so now the muscles are spasming and gives you like butt pain or sciatica or something, or shoulder issues, because you're compensated now, right? But it's all run through the nervous system. Go ahead now. Because when these vertebrae misalign, and this can happen, by the way, in any extremity of the body. You can misalign a joint, an elbow, a wrist. You can misalign a knee. Any joint that's moving can lock up slightly where it's not moving full through the ranges, and now your body starts to compensate. When you distort the body, you distort the function of that body. You distort the function biochemically, and that can actually distort the DNA and how you express health. There's a thing called subluxation in science, which means that when the brain cell and the tissue cell are not able to communicate because of the subluxation, you begin to get decreased function, and that's a slow cancer-like death in the body because you don't know it. Okay? Keep going. This was a study back in 1921. Dr. Windsor, who was in our backyard here in University of Pennsylvania, he took people, he was a pathologist, that have died of many different causes, and what he found is whatever that part of their spine that had the most, that they died from, the organ, they traced the nerve, that part of their spine had the most arthritis or a small curvature. And the equation is, you have an acute angle like this, you're pinching the nerve, it's a stress point in the system, that organ is now stressed. But again, did you know, when I found this out a couple of years ago, how many percent damage or function left do you have in your kidneys and liver before you even can figure out there's anything wrong? How many percent function can you have left before you even know that you can still not really know it? Okay, here's the number. This blew my mind. It's like, this is ridiculous. You can have only 20% kidney or liver function and not know there's anything wrong. Don't you think that's too late? That would be like your finances. Like, hey, you got 20% left. What? What do you mean you got 20% left? So it's not a good indicator. Do you understand? So yeah, there's many different components that create that dis-ease in your body, but you can't know by how you feel. And I can't say that enough again and again and again. I'm going to become like a running broken record, because people tell you what? When you watch the commercials on TV, if you feel good, you're healthy. And if you don't feel good, you're not healthy. So take this thing, concoction. Okay. When you have a nerve that's not functioning properly, guess how long it takes to affect the function of that nerve? You guys remember? Put your hand out. Pretend that's a nerve. Put your pinky on top of it. This represents a nerve. If you put that pinky on there, that's about 40 millimeters mercury weight on there. Within 1 to 2 minutes, if you leave that nerve on, the pressure on that nerve on, it will decrease the function by 60%. This study was done in University of Colorado about 40 years ago. How are you going to know there's anything wrong with that nerve if you don't feel it? Will you know? So what do you do if you don't know anything? Nothing. And you just go on your merry way and you get surprised. Right? It's a problem. It's a problem because we're not taught these principles. So ideally, you should have optimal health and function. When you have the misalignments in your spine or the vertebral subluxation complex, you then eventually do what? Interfere with the nervous system. Your body what? Malfunctions, and then you lose your health. Then look at this. It's the end stage. You're already trying to fix an end stage. Would you try to fix end stage cancer? Is that the best way to do it? Once you do get up here, right? Once we do all the screening, so you get screened for diabetes, you get screened for colon, you get screened for, right? Who screens your nervous system? Because it doesn't hurt, right? You gotta wait till it hurts. It's a fool's game. And then we try to fix it here. That if this is gone, right, that you're healed now. No, come back when you're in pain again. It makes no sense. That'd be like saying, I had all this debt because nobody taught me how to use my credit cards, that I actually had to pay something every month. Well, it looks like it says 25 cents I can pay every month, and that's okay. And so I just kept paying 25 cents. Oh, there's another credit card. Oh, 25 cents on that every month too. So what happens? They don't tell you that you have to pay your debt, correct? There's an exchange that happens, and that time it begins to break you down. So with the laser, okay, no, you didn't do that. It was a setting issue. So hopefully this stops here because we had that fixed today. So the laser, which is this, you see that? This is one of the lasers here. This is what Dr. Spencer used. This is actually the older version. I have a newer version that he doesn't have because I have the version. Look at that thing. Look at that. Isn't that crazy? Ow, that's hot. No. It shoots photons at 635 nanometer frequency, which is the frequency of healing. What it does is it stimulates the body's ability to produce ATP. What's ATP?
Adenosine triphosphate.
Which is what?
Energy.
Energy. That's how your body runs. It's the currency of the body. The more ATP, and it's hard to make ATP, right? The Krebs cycle is insane. How little you get out of that whole cycle that the body makes. Without it, and what it does, it produces ATP, and that's why things heal. It also allows faster natural healing in the body in decreased time. It decreases pain and inflammation, and it increases your range of motions in your joints and gets your cellular physiology to heal because you're restoring communication between the tissue. If you look at the nervous system and look at the tissues the way it was designed, it's really an information super. It's almost like the internet. The internet is not physical, right? It's all information, right? And think about how insane that is. Where is the internet? It's everywhere. Isn't that amazing? It's everywhere, but it's somewhere. But you can access it at any point in time, and it goes everywhere. I mean, you can just like not stop anymore, and you can just like quit your job and just stay online for the rest of your life, and you still won't get there. You will never finish it. Correct? Well, that's the same way with regard to the light. Okay. This is just a summary of it. So biological effects of the laser increases tissue uptake of oxygen, increases white blood cell function, the axonal regeneration of the nerve cells. If you have nerve damage to the cell, I work a lot with people with like fractures, warts, burns, and so on. All the kinds of things that we can help is because we're getting the frequency of the photons into the tissue, and it talks the same language. It talks the language of healing and say, hello, this is the way you should be vibrating. Because think about your tissues. The tissues vibrate at a frequency, right? So it upregulates the cell in the lasered area. The lymphatic flow, it stimulates that too. We talked about mitochondrial ATP already. And it actually modulates the cortisol levels, and it's had anti-inflammatory effects as well in the body. This is all the research that it shows. And what Dr. Spencer showed me is it actually produces extraordinary clinical outcomes in the shortest amount of time with the least amount of expense. And that's why he got these people to the highest level of performance. Who does that, right? 1 year, 2 years maybe? I mean, how many times do you get Super Bowl? Not 7 years in a row, right? I mean, it's hard to do that. But if you understand the way the body works, you can, and there's now a segment of chiropractic called functional neurology. There's actually a diplomate program of 3 more years, which I'm not going to get. I have 2 more. Or it's amazing what they could do. They wake people up from comas. They have people that have concussions that have not responded to anything else. And they know how the brain works, but instead of doing surgery and giving drugs and doing rehab, they actually stimulate something here. They make you do boring math, and they plug your one ear on this side and make you smell something here, and you listen to music on this side. And they stimulate your brain so you actually wake the brain up. Things happen because they understand how the body works. Okay? So another biological for the laser, this is by Jeffrey Nelson, MD. Okay, go ahead. So I'm going to read this. It's really small. So this is a guy, it's a burn unit. One of my first eye-opening experience with a low-level laser in wound recovery was with a burn patient. As a plastic surgeon and medical director of a burn and wound center, I see large numbers of acute and chronic burn injuries as well as wounds. What a fun job, right? Okay, here we go again. So one particular gentleman had a home fire that melted his carpet, and he was forced to walk across it in bare feet to get out of his house. Can you imagine how insane that is? He presented with very deep foot burns and severe pain, and he never went to a chiropractor, so therefore he was on chronic narcotics due to an old back injury. So I knew his pain would be difficult to manage. At presentation, his pain was exceptionally severe. The bottoms of his feet were purple, swollen, sloughing skin. Obviously, it was burned down. Within 2 minutes of the treatment of the 635 nanometer frequency cold laser, his pain decreased by a self-reported 75%, and his skin went from blue and purple to pink right before our eyes. As you can imagine, our jaws dropped. This particular laser therapy has been part of my practice ever since. Burn unit. Do you hear about this? No, because you can't sell everybody a laser for $15,000. You can just give you meds instead. Does that make sense? And that, Marlene, is why you were like going like this. Like, I wish I'd videotaped the original time when she was here. Whoa! What was that? Whoa! 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 That was really cool. I wish I'd gotten that. But this is the actual picture of this guy right here. 58 years old, second-degree burns, molten carpet, and house fire. This was back in 2003. This is what he came in with. Nasty, right? And this is 11 days after 5 treatments with graft. They actually grafted it. But what we find, like we have, I had a patient come in. Okay, actually then later on, 28 days. But if you use the laser, you pulse the frequency in there, and the body goes, what? Oh, that's what it's supposed to look like. You're giving it a scaffolding to heal tissue. A lady come in, she's 60-something years old, and she's been with me for a little while, and she was cooking spaghetti with this big bowl or a pot of hot water, and she tripped, and she burned her leg here. I have a video of it, not when she was burning it, but and she's like, oh no. Well, she knew about the laser, so guess where she comes? Comes over here first, right? And so we lasered it. It was like in the morning sometimes. She goes, that afternoon, there was no pain at all. And so she told her mother, who's in her 80s, and her mom goes, what's wrong with you? Why didn't you go to the hospital? Who did you go to? Mom, no, he's a holistic chiropractor. He actually has this laser, and what's wrong with you? Do you go to your old doctor? Why are you going to your chiropractor? So her mom didn't talk to her for a week because she didn't like the fact. I said, Mom, he lasered it, and it was fine. So I had to do a testimonial video. But it's amazing. I mean, reading it alone, but when you see it in clinical practice, it's pretty amazing. So that's why when you were doing this, we're focusing, you have so much adhesions in that shoulder of yours from the surgery. And it's been like this because every time, do you ever have a pain that's chronic? Like every time you move, like, oh. Like, imagine doing that for 2 years. So your brain now is like, and you're just waiting, you're bracing yourself all the time. So now the body goes, stop moving it, you're hurting me, stop it. Well, we gave the body an opportunity, we lasered it. It's only been like 3-4 times that we've done that. We broke up the adhesions, we put the kinesia tape, we adjust her spine, and today she's like, whoa, which is cool. Thank you for sharing that. Oh, here's the research that they did. They took these poor little mice, right? They do experiment on these poor animals. They burn them. I know, nasty. 2 of them. Same thing. This group, control group, did nothing. This group lasered one side, left side, right? Lasered it. No, the details of that. Lasered it. In time, they found that this healed 66% faster than these guys that did not get lasered. You know what else they found? The non-lasered arm healed just as quickly. They're finding it has a systemic effect. Because think about when you shine light, like where does it go? Everywhere, right? Your body is basically made out of water. So when you introduce laser here, it goes everywhere. And so it has a systemic effect. Instead of just healing that one. Again, we're so focused on the one area, and it has a systemic effect. Isn't that cool? We've used it for all kinds of different things. I can tell you stories. So what we do is what's called the myotomal upregulation, and we're going to demonstrate that in a minute here. Okay? So go ahead now. Okay. So what happens with that, I don't think, we did upregulate you already. Can I borrow you? Is that all right?
Sure.
Yeah? If you're not okay, so you sure? Okay, good, all right. So what we're going to do, we're going to start first of all, for example, in the cervical spine. We're going to go through ranges of motion that if everything's normal in terms of the nerve communication between the brain and the body, that when you hold the arm out, that arm will go strong, will stay strong. If there's any distortion whatsoever by moving those muscles, so those myotomes, whether they're called in science, are controlled by the communication between your brain and those muscles. We talked about myotomal inhibition before, right? So what happens is that the body gets in, it could be like, oh, I got a crick in my neck, and you never took care of it, you never got adjusted, the body goes, oh, that's normal, okay, snapshot, that's crick one day, because oh, that's normal now too. So now you've all broken down with like a domino effect. So the body shuts down. Why do you think it does that, right? So if you have a joint that's moving properly, borrow this arm, right? Use the other arm here. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, go. So bend your arm. So the joint's moving properly. Relax it, right? No problem. Now watch. You injure the joint. The body goes, well, that's not good. It's swollen. So you know what? Let me shut down this muscle here 10%. Let me shut this one down here 5%. Oh, good. So I can still move. Can you see it? Because if I contract that muscle with a displacement of the joint function, you're going to fracture something. Protection. Exactly right. So what happens, instead of the body moving for prime moving so you could do something, it goes into defense protective mode. But you still got to eat. If you don't eat, you'll starve. If you don't move, you will die. You get it? The whole purpose of movement is survival. But now you're working in a deficiency state. And if you don't do what we're doing, what the body does, it remembers that as new normal. And that's why what happens. Oh, I've had this issue for a long time, and it just gets worse, what? Year after year after year. And you keep going to practitioners that just work on the part, as opposed to working on the system. You get it? So we start with this. So you go here, you hold this arm up. We just use the deltoid muscle as an indicator. Hold strong. Good. Bend your head forward, all the way down, and then hold strong. And that's strong. Bend all the way back, head back all the way, and hold. And that's fine. Tilt to the one side that way. Hold it. And that's strong too. Lock the elbow straight. Good. Tilt to this side, and hold. Good. And turn your head this way. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Hold. See what happened there?
Oh.
Turn to the middle. Not to the middle. Just look straight ahead.
Sorry.
Hold. And that's fine. Turn you this way. And now she can't hold that one. Turn.
Hard.
What's that? It's hard.
Yeah.
Because so that means when she turns this way, the body goes, hey, that's not good. With danger, Will Robinson, shut down the muscles in the area, and the body goes weak. Because it would rather go weak and fall away than persist and fracture. You fracture, you're done. That's it. You're not eating. You're going to starve to death. You're done. You're out of here. You would rather be compensated rather than be broken totally. You get it? So watch. Turn your head this way. This way now. You have to look over. There you go. Okay, ready? Hold. So rotation is not good for her. If you go straight, go lateral bending, hold, and she's fine. See that? Go back, turn this way again.
I'm sorry.
That's fine. Yeah, so when she rotates, it's done. So the body's saying danger, right? So what we do, we tell the body, okay, we're going to use the laser, and it just goes in the back of here. Turn around so they can see. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Right there. And you only do it for 2 seconds. Turn around this way, this way. And it's about C3, C5 area there. And then turn your head that way. Again, hold this arm and resist. Turn your head this way, hold, and it's on. So it's not because we're trying to fix the everybody's over this. Fix the tissue. Let's fix the tissue. Let's fix the joint. What about the communication? What if you have a really pretty girl, a really handsome guy, perfect teeth, perfect hair, right? But they suck at communication. How's that relationship? Perfect hair, perfect teeth. That's about as shallow as you can get it. Do you understand? The most important thing, here's another principle. It's about communication. Clear, concise, kind, gentle, loving communication. That's what you want with the body. Because again, and once you do that from Dr. Spencer's work here, it stays that way until you traumatize it again. Hold again. Turn this way. Hold. And that's it. Turn this way. She's already better now, but that's just the beginning. You do that through the whole body. The cervical spine, the thoracic spine, the lumbar spine. Does that make sense?
I want to bathe in a laser.
Yeah, but you know what? So listen to this. That can have its effect, but here's the thing that with the nervous system, when you just bathe it, it's like throwing antibiotics to the system. You're doing a shotgun approach. But what you want to do is you want to stimulate the part of the brain that's saying, I need help here. And when you laser that nerve root, it fixes that part of the brain saying, good, we're good to go. So it fixes the communication. But if you just overwhelm it, like there'll be like 500 of us going, Amy, 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 like, whoa, what do I don't want to work for? So that's why the laser shower is not as effective. But you can use the laser in another way too. If you the point and shoot, like we did with you, Marlene, right? With the shoulder, there's damage on tissue there. But with these, you can actually look at different frequencies. You can put it on acute injury, chronic injury, inflammation. You can put parasite. You can put bacteria. You can put candida on there. You can put virus. You can put cold sores. There's different frequencies, right? So watch this. Turn around this way. Look at that frequency. That is brain frequency. Watch the pulsing. You get it? I'm going to go switch it to candida. See the difference? See how much faster that is? I'm going to switch it to cartilage. That's fast too. Switch it to chronic pain. That's fast as well. This is cold sores. See the difference? Wow. It's pulsing so fast you can't see the pulsing. And then this is cranial nerves, the rounds of cranial nerves. See the difference? There's like 4 diodes in there. They're all pulsing at a different rate. Isn't that cool? So thank you. Thank you for... So that's called upregulation. So that's why when you guys come in here, what Dr. Spencer taught me is you don't just adjust the spine to realign the bones, because the software has to be fixed too. This is the hardware. Yeah, the hardware could be out of, the mouse is out of place, keyboard's off, you got to plug it in. That's the hardware. That's part of the way your body works. But the software, nobody looks at. That's why when you get something, they try to influence something, it comes back, because the settings have never been reset. Get it? Okay, so we do the kinesio taping now, the fascial movement taping. So what we do different types of motions to assess where the weaknesses are of the body, and then we can put the kinesio tape on there to hold the body's strength. The most important thing that you need to understand, okay? You have to balance the spine and nervous system first. Why? The communication. Remember, the word to the day is communication. If you don't have proper communication and you put more information to get the outcome that you want, right? They'll be like, Amy and I, we've been fighting, it's like, let me give you a Amazon gift card for $500. Is that going to fix anything? It's like, right? If you throw money at it, if you throw tape on something that is like this, you'll feel better and you can work out. But what are you doing to yourself? you're going to make yourself even worse. Because why? You're working out crookedly, but you can't feel your pain. You don't want to do that. You always want to fix the system first, the best that you can, and then stabilize it if the body wants it, right? So we're going to go through different ranges of motion, and that's why we always assess you. Like, there's a whole protocol that we follow, right? When you guys come in, we do the cervical spine, we do the lumbar, we do the thoracic, and then we stack it. Remember the stacking? With the hands like this, with the cervical range of motion, the breathing pattern, right? The gait, we fix the gait, we fix the cranial nerves. There's a whole pathway that we follow to ask the body, what state that it's in. Go ahead now, John. So we'll do fascial movement taping demonstration. So come on up. You said you volunteered for this one, right?
Well, okay, whatever.
Yeah. I volunteered you for this one.
Yes, you did.
So he's already been adjusted. So we adjusted him today. And as you know, when we do the last adjustment, what do we always see? How are you functioning in the state of gravity? Because when we get adjusted, most of the time we're doing what? We're lying down. That's fine. You can realign the spine that way, take pressure off the nervous system, allow the communication to be restored, but it doesn't mean you're going to stay in gravity. So cross your arms now, John.
Like this?
Yeah, widen your stance. Good. So we're going to see how he's functioning here. This is 2 of the tests that we do to see how the body's resisting gravity. I'm going to push you this way. Don't let me. Just resist anything that I do. Hold. And that's fine. Hold. And he's fine that way. Arms in front of you. Lock it up. Straighten the elbows. And resist. And you can't do that. Right? Here. Can't do that. So why don't we do an experiment? Leave it like that for 6 months and see what happens. No, I'm kidding. We're not going to do that to you. So hold this.
Please don't do that.
Please don't do that. Okay. Hold. So he's not able to do that. So we're going to find out, is it here? Okay, so now watch. Turn around this way. We've determined from this assessment, lock it up. If I go here, it doesn't help. It's not a lumbar issue. If I go up here and put, what happened?
That's better.
It's better. So what we do then, again, keep in mind, he's already been adjusted. The nervous system has already been balanced. You mind if we expose your back?
Okay.
Okay, you go with that? Okay. Here you go. Turn this way. Hey, Aim, come help me out. You're my nurse tonight. Okay. Go this way. So lift that up there. Okay. So just dropping the arms. Looks down. So we want the tapes to be stretched. So we're going to then tell the body, put the tape here. Oh, hold on. The one thing with the tape too, you have to really be careful. You cannot have a kink in it. If you do that, you're going to get blisters and you'll be cursing me. So I don't want to be cursed. So that's it. We stretch the tape. And guess what the body's doing now? The body's saying, pay attention, pay attention. It's stimulating the mechanoreceptors, right? In the area, the proprioceptors, and the body's going, okay, reset. Constantly. Yeah. And it's feeding back to the brain, saying this is where you need to be. Mm-hmm. Okay? So face this way again. Arms in front of you. Lock it up again. And then hold. Still weak, right? Hold. Because the other side's weak. Now watch. Turn around this way. Why does this have anything to do with the opposite side? And with the fascial planes? Amazing. So the fascial planes, they cross each other and so on. So we'll do another tape on there. All right, nurse.
Yeah, he's on here. Hold on a second. Stay put. Here we go. Got a malfunction over here. Don't worry. It's not good. I'm reassuring the patient.
Thank you. Thank you, nurse.
Good job. Thank you.
We're back.
You're real nice.
No, she just plays one on TV. You're a real nurse. I like that. Okay. All right, here we go. Not only a nurse, she actually retired and also became a personal trainer with nursing knowledge, which is amazing. All right, so we go here. Okay. All right, so here's another thing that we forgot to do. What you want to do is march in place for a second. Because what are you doing when you march in place? Go ahead. What are you doing? And stop.
Reinforcing it.
Yeah.
You're stimulating everything that you just fixed and telling the brain, adapt. The mechanoreceptors, right? The proprioceptors, the body's totally different now. So now you just have the person march. Widen your stance. What's that?
Don't you have to laser it?
What's that?
Don't you laser it?
That's different. That's called a locomotor lock-in. After we adjust everything, we lock everything with a laser, right? So arms in front, lock it up. Hold strong. And hold. That one's done.
Yeah, good there. I'm trying, really.
Adjusting tool there. I'd go real fast there. So what we're finding here now, the tape is part of the situation. There's actually a joint dysfunction or a subluxation in his hip that we need to realign. That. Okay, so now we're realigning it here. Turn around this way. All we're doing is stimulating the left SI joint. Turn around again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Arms in front. Lock it. Widen your stance. Hold it. And hold it. Now you're solid.
Yeah, that's much better.
Do you understand? So you have to look at the hardware, you look at the software, you look at the hardware. You have to jump back and forth. And the only way you know that you did what you're supposed to do is the body now has proper function restored, right? So now, does it matter what symptom does he have? Because now if the body is in a balanced state, what's the default setting? What does it want to do? Oh, I can heal. Oh, thank you. Because now you're not giving out resources to pain pathways like, ooh. Like, I mean, you're just like, ooh, all day long. Like you wake up, oh, am I going to be in pain? Oh, how many more drugs did I take? Oh my God, I'm going to protect, right? You're going through this protective mode all day long. You're like, where's your beacon of light now? You become a burden to yourself and society because you're out of balance. You get it? It's not because you're a bad person, it's because you're out of balance. And it doesn't matter what your intentions are. If you smell nice, you have lots of money, if you're a kind person, if you're patient, if your body's not functioning properly because your nerve system's not functioning properly, what's going to happen? Your life is not going to be happy. So just by doing that alone, we can now get the body to balance. And so, good point. What we're going to do is lock him in, right? Turn away from me here. Keep going. Turn away this way. So this is called locomotor lock-in. Good, march. Okay, turn more towards the screen. Keep going, march it. Legs chin up, shoulders back. Good. And we're lasering the spine now, locking everything in so the body can memorize that new pattern of behavior. You do it for 10 seconds, close your eyes. And stop. Very good. Okay. Good. Have a seat. Thank you very much.
Good job.
Good job. Give him a big hand.
Good job. All right.
And thank you, nurse.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Fake nurse.
No, real nurse. Go ahead. Real nurse. We can also use movement taping for performance. And Bart's my wonder guy here, but he's like big into, this was when he was skinny. So, but basically we use the taping to prepare somebody for performance, so that these guys in CrossFit are crazy, right? I mean, there's like they overdo it. And if you can tape the body in that regard, then you can prevent it from getting injured. Who's this guy?
So, yeah, he's a walker.
He was the fastest man in the world, so he won consistently in the 100-meter distance throughout his career. They nicknamed him Lightning Bolt. He won 6 Olympic gold medals, never placing for silver or bronze. In other world championships, he was collected 8 first-place wins, and he's just a special kind of genetic freak, right? Go ahead. As a young man, Bolt suffered from scoliosis. When I was younger, the scoliosis wasn't really a problem, but you grow and it gets worse. My spine was really curved bad. the early part of my career, when we didn't really know much about it, it really hampered me because I got injured every year. So this is his chiropractor. So as long as I'm in great shape, nobody beats me for sure, right? So instead of using a brace, you should both use chiropractic care. He uses not only to bounce back from more quickly from injuries, but to enhance his performance while healthy. Again, I said, as long as I'm in great shape. This is a guy that I adjusted when they came around the Harlem Wizards. They came around Conestoga High School. So I donated my time to help these guys out. So this is an example of them. Okay. And he's a little bit taller than me, so we got him ready.
Sneakers or boots?
Yeah, right. Yeah,
They look like snowmobiles.
yeah, I know. Those are the socks and so on. But so yeah, it's about performance, and also it's just so amazing though, because again, when you get outside the realm of sickness care and crisis care, like right, Amy, I mean, it's so much fun to like grow people into healthier as the work that you and I do, as opposed to trying to fix broken things. I mean, that can only get you so far. I saved somebody's life. Like, yeah, but they're like, their life's not good quality. But it's nice to take them from here to say quality over time, and then these are your neighbors, these are your people that you know, and that you had a hand in that, allowing these people to heal properly. And that's really, and that's why I feel like really a really heavy burden. That's why we do the videos. We try to, share testimonials. It's not about us. We're very busy. We have a very busy practice, but we need to be busier. We need to train more doctors. We need to train more assistants so that this could be in every city and country in the world. Wouldn't it be nice to go, hey, I know somebody in Kentucky, right? Who does this? Nobody does this. I can't allow this to die with me. We need somebody to be training again and again and again. And I know you and I still need to have lunch about that, because you have that same big vision of how are we going to do this so it doesn't die with us. We're not 25 anymore. You know what I mean?
Talk.
What's that?
TED Talk.
TED Talk. Yeah, but we got to train people to do the TED Talk. Yeah, thank you. So I'm passing that burden on to you. Not in a negative way, passing on the information. Speaking to one there, you see them suffering, to Amy referring you here. So now you pass it on. Remember that? The beacon of light. Let's keep lighting each other's candles and making everybody as healthy as they can be to thrive in their life. There are parents in our community that need to know about health as well. A lot of the burdens that we have right now is that you're supposed, when do you get your kids' teeth taken care of? As soon as they have teeth, right? So so good. Or the dentist goes, oh good, you got teeth. That's it?
No.
How often do you take them back?
Every 6 months.
What's wrong? They have teeth. That's all you need to know. They have teeth, right? No, because what happens to teeth? Because of our bad diets and so on, they become crooked, they get, your nervous system just runs your whole body, every cell, single tissue. And does that make sense? So when we check people, the ideal thing is to check them when? Early on, as soon as you're born. And that's why I went back to get my degree in pediatrics. If you check the babies when they're, babies, once you get rid of that subluxation, when they're babies, it's gone forever.
How do you determine subluxation?
Nope, no need.
How do you?
Basically palpation, and there's a whole panel of tests that we do, and also muscle testing. We can find out where those muscle subluxation patterns are. If those of you that haven't seen it, look on my website. You can look under drmariano.com, and you saw that little baby, the colicky baby that had not slept for a month, right? And then we adjusted it and it immediately relaxed, because your CNS, your nervous system, runs everything. When your nervous system becomes strangled like this, it goes into fight or flight and you can't heal. When you're in defense mode, you can't be in healing mode at the same time. Holidays are coming, right? So, you just had 30 people, you said, the other day? Like you entertained? Yeah, right? And you guys had a lot of fun because you were having fun, right? Because that was basically in parasympathetic mode. You guys were having fun. What if you knew somebody was going to come to your door and ransack your house? Would you be able to have fun? No. When your nervous system is misaligned, and it goes in defense mode, you cannot be having fun. You are not in healing mode. You can't be in healing mode and defense mode at the same time. It's impossible. You can't serve two masters. By getting your spine checked and nerve system checked, things begin to calm down. We had a 15-year-old girl here. She just started out maybe 2 weeks now. And yesterday, she had really bad cramps. We found what we found. We did some, soft tissue manipulation. We adjusted her. She just came in this day. She goes, and her mom goes, whatever you did yesterday, her cramps are gone. It's like, oh, that's nice. Like, no, you don't understand. It usually lasts for a whole week with heavy medication. The pain's gone. Did I do anything? No. Just let the body function the way it's supposed to. And she's never been adjusted before. She's 15. She's like, do you think you're thankful at 15 not to have cramps that like incapacitating where you have to stop going to school? Right? So again, that's the burden that I have because it's for our kids. Because like you said, how do you know? If you get rid of that subluxation when you're a child, you then begin to develop in a harmonious, balanced way. And that becomes your foundation. As the genetic windows open and close, you're in a balanced state. How many decades do we spend in an unbalanced state and then we go back and try to reverse that when it's permanently embedded in your nervous system? You know, Dr. Spencer, when I saw him a month ago in Jersey, he said, don't forget, Dennis, that when you misalign your spine within 1 to 2 days and you don't fix that, it may take you years of frustrating work to try to reverse it. If you fix that within 2 days, like with the laser, 4 to 6 hours, if you laser something, an injury, it heals 50% faster. So as soon as you injure your spine, like Brandon, right? Just like, you did something, so we're seeing him after this. He knows, he's a baseball player, he did something. We're going to fix it right away. The body's not going to memorize it. It's like, oh, this is new normal. You know, it's done. Okay, so my burden is that basically we need to pass this on to the next generation. But you guys got to speak up. We always set our hours aside for proactive screenings. We don't want to wait for people to get screened when they're already in pain. I mean, that's going to happen because that's the way the world works, but I really encourage everybody to do that. When we do our analysis, we get people to check their posture. We put them on 2 weight scales. We do the functional movement analysis that we just did. We do the EMG scans, which is an myograph on your spine, like an EKG, but it's on your spine. And we take x-rays if necessary to assess, see if you need to be adjusted or not. Normal fee is $280. We always reward people. Your buddy there, don't have him come as a patient. Have him come to the seminar. Number 1, he saves money, right? Or number 2, here's another important thing. If he thinks I'm crazy and he's not ready, you just save him time. He spent nothing. At the very least, he'll learn something, right? That can protect him in the future. Okay? Again, our practice mission statement is to provide the best technology in holistic health and life care. We're here to inspire people to live thriving lives so they can be a beacon of hope for others. For those of you online, please go to our website. We have a lot of good information on there. If you're interested in coming in and to do a consultation, use the code HOLISTIC and we'll extend that savings to you. Like our page on Facebook, Mariano Holistic Life Center, and Dr. Mariano as well. And check in on our page as well. Go ahead. Last seminar is tonight. Next seminar is you guys got to be here. Muscle testing and how to do it. You know the muscle testing I show? I'm going to show you how to do that so you can test what foods you should be eating, what water you should be drinking, and if your kid's lying, you can test all that too.
If your kid's lying, their tongue turns blue. They don't
What's
know.
that?
Their tongue turns blue when they're lying.
That's true, and their nose gets long. But if in the absence of those other signs, you can muscle test them. It's pretty uncanny. Oh. So come to that one. So listen, at the Tour de France, when they win, they get a yellow jersey, right? But guess what? We don't get a yellow jersey at the end of our life. But I believe that everybody has a God-given gift of being here on earth to give to others as well. So even if you don't get that yellow jersey at the end of your life, you still deserve the type of care that those yellow jersey guys get. And that's what I've devoted my life to doing, is sharing that with all of you so that you can then be a beacon of hope for everybody that you meet. So let's give you guys a big hand for being here this evening. And then also for John for helping us out, and for a real nurse for assisting us tonight, and for Marlene for not heckling me again tonight. So thank you very much. Have a good night.
Thank you, Dr.
You're welcome. And